Percy Shelley was one angry poet, especially in 1819. That was the year of the Peterloo Massacre, which we'll touch on in a couple of minutes. Shelley was born in West Sussex, England in 1792, and he died in 1822 in Italy. It was a short life, but he put it to good use as one of England's best-known poets. But his anger and disgust with Britain's ruling class was deep, and only matched by his appeal to British working people to share that feeling and to do something about it. To some extent, though, that rage was silenced by the powers that be. They refused to publish his radical political poems, and they were only published some 20 years after his death. Today, I invite you to join me in facing reality for social justice by taking a look at 4 of these poems. The first, appropriately, is a call to arms called A Song to Men of England. Men of England, wherefore plough for the lords who lay thee low? Wherefore weave with toils and care the rich robes your tyrants wear? Wherefore feed and clothe and save from the cradle to the grave those ungrateful drones who would drain your sweat, nay, drink your blood? Wherefore, bees of England, forge many a weapon, change and scourge, that these stingless drones may spoil the first produce of your toil? Have ye leisure, comfort, calm, shelter, food, love's gentle balm? Or what is it ye buy so dear with your pain and with your fear? The seed ye sow, another reaps. The wealth ye find, another keeps. The robes ye weave, another wears. The arms ye forge, another bears. Sow seed, but let no tyrant reap. Find wealth, let no impostor heap. Weave robes, let not the idle wear. Forge arms in your defence to bear. Shrink to your cellars, holes and cells, in hall ye deck another dwells. Why shake the chains ye wrought? Ye see the steel ye tempered, glance on ye. With plough and spade and hoe and loom, trace your grave and build your tomb, and weave your winding sheet, till fair England be your sepulchre. Sow seed, but let no tyrant reap. Find wealth, let no impostor heap. Weave robes, let not the idle bear. Forge arms in your defence to bear. This language is partly a response to the attack by local and national military on a peaceful demonstration of working people in Manchester in August of 1819. 18 people were killed and hundreds wounded. The first person killed at the event was a young girl, one of many children brought by their mothers, who thought that this was going to be a walk in St. Peter's Field to express their frustration on how the economy was going. It was called the Peterloo Massacre by one of the radical newspapers in Manchester, because it was only 4 years after the final battle of the Napoleonic Wars, and in which some of the demonstrators and some of the military undoubtedly fought. As from an ancestral oak, 2 empty ravens sound their clarion. Yell by yell and croak by croak, when they scent the noonday smoke of fresh human carrion. As two gibbering nightbirds flit from their bowers of deadly hue through the night to frighten it, when the moon is in a fit, and the stars are none or few. As a shark and dogfish wait under an Atlantic isle for the Negro ship, whose freight is the theme of their debate, wrinkling their red gills the while. Are ye two vultures sick for battle, two scorpions under one wet stone, two bloodless wolves whose dry throats rattle, two crows perched on their murrained cattle, two vipers tangled into one? This poem is called Similes for Two Political Characters of 1819, and it well expresses his full disgust with the British political class running the country then. They are vultures, they are vipers, they are crows, looking for fresh human carrion. The two political characters aren't named, but some of Shelley followers think that the bill can be filled by Lords Castlereagh and Sidmouth. Castlereagh was the British Secretary of State from 1818 to 1822, and Sidmouth was the British Home Secretary during the 1819 Peterloo Massacre. They both earned the wrath of British working people during the time after the defeat of Napoleon, when British politics became much more intolerant of protests during an economic downturn that was driving more and more people into poverty. Our next poem is a little clearer on its target. It's called Lines Written During the Castlereagh Administration. Corpses are cold in the tomb. Stones on the pavement are dumb. Abortions are dead in the womb, and their mothers look pale, like the death-white shore of Albion, free no more. Her sons are as stones in the way, they are masses of senseless clay. They are trodden, and move not away. The abortion which she travaileth is liberty, smitten to death. Then trample and dance, thou oppressor, for thy victim is no redresser. Thou art sole lord and possessor of her corpses, and clods and abortions. They pave thy path to the grave. Hearest thou the festival din of death and destruction and sin and wrath crying havoc within? 'Tis the bacchanal triumph that makes truth dumb, thine epithalamium. Aye, marry thy ghastly wife, let fear and disquiet and strife spread thy couch in the chamber of life. Marry ruin, thou tyrant, and hell be thy guide to the bed of the bride. Albion, or England, free no more. Abortions are dead in the womb, and liberty is what is aborted. This disgust that Shelley felt for the political leaders like Castlereagh comes through when he describes their destruction of liberty as an epithalamion, a poem they write to their new bride as they are led through the degradation of hell to the marriage bed. Castlereagh was the destroyer of Irish independence and architect of reaction in Britain against the expansion of the right of the population to political representation. He was against the institution of slavery, but advised moderation in forceful opposition to its existence because it was a complicated issue. He was a much hated figure in Britain political life and deeply despised by Shelley. Ironically, he died the same year as Shelley in 1822. He died of suicide. An old, mad, blind, despised and dying king. Princes, the dregs of their dull race, who flow through public scorn, mud from a muddy spring. Rulers who neither see, nor feel, nor know, but leech-like to their fainting country cling till they drop, blind in blood without a blow. A people starved and stabbed in the untilled field, that army which liberticide and prey makes as a two-edged sword to all who wield. Golden and sanguine laws which tempt and slay. Religion, Christless, godless, a book sealed, a senate, time's worst statute, unrepealed. Our graves from which a glorious phantom may burst to illuminate our tempestuous day. Shelley is not shy in defining who he blames for the problems people are facing. An old, mad, blind, despised, and dying king. This is just the beginning of those he thinks are destroying his country. He doesn't spare the heroes of the defeat of Napoleon either. The army is guilty of attacking those who were in the Peterloo demonstration, and as such, they are guilty also of liberticide, the killing of liberty. An interesting touch in the poem, however, is in the last two lines. Our graves from which a glorious phantom may burst to illuminate our tempestuous day. Some commentators have compared these lines to the opening of the Communist Manifesto written in 1848. A specter is haunting Europe, the specter of communism. All the powers of old Europe have entered into a holy alliance to exorcise this specter. Pope and Tsar, Metternich and Guizot, French radicals and German police spies. Shelley may not have been writing a manifesto, but he well describes the feeling of those a couple of decades later who stirred Europe with the revolutions of 1848 and the beginnings of the modern socialist movement. Let's also remember that Percy Shelley's rage and anger at the conditions of life in early 19th century Europe can be well described as touching the feelings of people today. A bit more lyrical perhaps, but with the same sense of need to fight a decaying society. Many of Shelley's more political and socially radical poems were kept from publication until way after his death. They were preserved and protected and brought to publication years later through the work of his wife, Mary Shelley, who had her own social critique published in 1818 called Frankenstein. And let's remember that the monster of Mary Shelley's book was not called Frankenstein. That was the name of the creator of the monster. In any case, we'd like to thank you for coming along with us for a short time in facing reality for social justice, as we looked at Percy Shelley's contribution to a radical critique of society. I take the blame for pulling together the music accompaniment to the poems, and I'm Wayne Heimbach.